Yo, what's up? What's up? Welcome back to another edition of the review with my friend here, Mike Tyson. And this journey of speaking about creativity and resistance has been an amazing journey thus far. Mike, you enjoying it, or am I a little too lame? Like, what's going on over there?
Man, you have no idea how much I enjoy these conversations.
Yeah, man, I think it's tough, man, because we both talkers, and then but we're passionate about what we talk about. So I think it makes it really, really fun. Because we talked
Absolutely.
about creativity and resistance, and I think it ties into today's subject really well. Your dream is between you and you. And sometimes I find as a creative and as a podcaster, and even being creative in the job field, and being in the military for what is it, going on 13 years now. It's one of those things where every day you don't feel super motivated every hour to get the things done. It's like before getting on a podcast, I'm like, man, my stomach hurt a little bit. Maybe I need to go to the restroom. It was just like all these little things, and a lot of it is nerves. A lot of it is environment. Like today I was working on some new videos for ads for the podcast, and it was one of those things where I just you lock in, you focus, you forget that you've been sitting in front of this computer screen for hours, and that's not necessarily super normal, Mike. But fighting that dream, that between you and you mentality is the fact that support is going to ebb and flow on what you do. People will be super psyched up, and I don't know if you've seen this in your organization. People be super psyched up to support and work and get started, and it's just the energy's right, and then all of a sudden it flatlines. And it sometimes it seems like you'll be the only person that works at that organization at times. You're like, but the problem is you can't expect you out of them, right? You can only expect you out of you because it's your organization. You know what I'm saying? As much as the network is everybody's, people come in and we network and we do the thing. I have to run it like I'm the backbone of it.
Mhm.
I have to set the vision. And that becomes hard because at times I don't know if you know who Gary V is, Gary Vaynerchuk. He'll get people to ask, because they see how passionate he is. They will ask him and say, "Hey Gary, how do you get them to work and get stuff done and grind and hustle?" He was like, "You don't. You have to lead the charge on that, and you can't expect them to do those things. You can't expect them to stay as late as you are because it's not their vision. It's your vision."
Mhm.
And but here's the catch part of it. The other side of it is when you execute on that vision and you learn how to facilitate that vision in an effective way, it changes the people around you, and they will buy into that vision.
Yes,
They
sir.
will start saying yes. And sometimes I think I'm like, man, because I'm an empath, I'm like, I want to give these people money to be here and do the things. But people, just off of the strength of your passion and how you execute and how you treat people, people will go to bat for you any and everywhere. They will find people and potential guests that they want to have on. If you support, their dream just a little bit, if you take some of their ideas a little bit, sometimes even if you don't do it, because they have the same dream that you have, but they just don't have the wherewithal to execute on it. They don't have the faith and the courage to go forth and do the things that you're doing, which is it hurts at times, but at the same time, to who more is given, more is required, right? It requires a lot of you, and a lot of people, they don't have that much inside of them, and a lot of times you have to be the person to bridge that gap. I know you probably, what's your experience, what I'm saying, as far as your dream, would take action today, and those things. How's that gone so far, and how have you had to reset the course as far as understanding and resetting that dream?
So this it's an amazing topic for something like that because one of the first things that I had to recognize doing that was that there's only one me. And I say that not out of ego, but it's the reality because and as well as there's only one me, we have a great team. Each teammate that we have, there is only one them that has their passion, their drives, their motivations, as well as myself. So I cannot expect them to share my passion and motivations and because we come from different experiences. We're motivated by different things. We have different goals and different drives and ambitions. So, not to expect that. One of the things that I have found is that working with staff, there's a balance to it because you've always got those people that want to run really hard, and then you've got those that you have to drag up the hill. So you have to find a way to balance who you're dragging up the hill and who you're trying to slow down a little bit, because it has to all flow together and everybody has to go together as a team. You talk
Yeah,
about this being so much me. I operate in a very different way than a lot of other people do, because my goal really is to empower others to be successful, but still my responsibility is to maintain that structure and that framework that makes that possible. So on one hand, it's a larger responsibility, but on the other hand, if I delegate responsibility appropriately and empower people appropriately, they do their part of things. They do them. So that's what I try to do. Is I try to identify people's strengths, help them to identify their strengths and their goals, and then help them to work to achieve that. And through that, I achieve my goal, because my goal is empowering them. So when they achieve, I achieve. You know?
that's real. That's real. That's real. And that's the coolest part is when you get to know your team on a deeper level, you understand who gonna give you 10 a night and who gonna give you 5 and who gonna give you
Yes.
20.
Yep.
And you know who the people who like every 5 games they gonna have a little slump. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard, right? Because in the military we get a lot of A plus people, but A's you really can't keep them the same way you can keep, like B's and C's, right? And not saying B's and C's like as in bad, but you know how much work ethic and what they actually put and how they gonna execute on a regular level. Because we
Yeah.
all have different strengths and different things, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes that becomes tough because they'll try to put a bunch on the A, and then I'm like, and sometimes I'm the A, sometimes I'm the B, depending on what the subject is, right? And so it makes it hard because they'll try to put a lot of stuff on me when I'm in A mode, you know what I'm saying? And then it's like, then I look around, I'm like, you ain't gonna, you gonna holler at buddy? And then there's a different part of me that goes deep and like just massively kills it to a point where I feel uncomfortable even leading the thing because I don't want to outshine the person whose name is supposed to be on the thing, who is leading the project. And that's where things are kind of starting to get dangerous in my career is like I'm not that guy. Like I don't want the clout. I don't want the shine necessarily.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I've done stuff and laid the foundation for projects here and my homeboy is on the TV screen for it. You know what I mean? But I got the people at the table. I wrote the plans. I put the things together. I, laid the foundation. But it's beautiful seeing my homie shine
Yes.
because I know I could take that same energy I put into that and I could do anything with it.
Yeah.
Like my time is bigger than just that project, bigger than just the thing because I'm gonna get the accolades on paper regardless.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people spend so much time celebrating that they don't get back to the work and use the valuable experience that they gained in that opportunity. And then they revert back to the old habits of not executing at that level.
Yeah.
It
I think.
becomes you were the wow factor. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Well, I think it comes down to a difference between servant leadership and ego-driven leadership. It's who are we trying to make better through this? Are we trying to make all of us better? Or am I trying to make myself better? You
That's
know,
true.
I'm very fortunate, man. I work in a field, and a lot of what we do in our training and talks about boundaries and about being able to establish healthy boundaries for yourself and others and be assertive in situations. And man, it's really given me a lot of skills to be able to almost compartmentalize things. So like I can't remember if it was you and I talking about like when I come home at the end of the day from work, I automatically change clothes. And it's like
Okay.
putting on a
Yeah.
completely different role. Like
Yeah.
I am leaving the executive director at work, but I come home and I become a father and a husband. Now, later on in that day, I go to sit at my desk and put my earbuds in, and I go to doing some work and I'm back in that executive director role. But I have learned to move between those roles in a healthy way rather than when I'm trying to be a father, I'm mad because I need to be doing my executive director stuff. And when I'm executive director, I'm mad because my kids want me to be coming over here doing something, you know. And it's difficult finding that balance is tough. And I don't know.
Yeah, it
I got down a rabbit hole there, brother. I'm sorry.
no, you good. No, you were on point actually because you versus you have to compartmentalize it too because all those different versions of you are you.
Yeah.
And so you have to know those are the versions of you. And I'm glad that you talked about setting boundaries.
Yes.
Setting boundary has changed my life. But it's scary because sometimes people take my boundaries the wrong way. You know what I mean? Because there are a lot of times I sit alone, I'll eat alone, you know what I mean? Because I'm
Yes.
trying to decompress from all the things that I have going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And but a lot of people love being around a lot of people a lot of time,
Yeah.
all the time. And I'm not that guy. I'm just
Yeah.
not that person. Right? I love showing people love. I will look out for you. I will go to the ends of the earth for you. You know, I got a podcast talking about all the greatest things that might help you get through your day. You know what I mean? But it takes a lot out of me.
Yes.
And, a lot of the stuff that most people talk about, like I'm not with, stinking thinking. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I just can't be in that realm.
Yeah.
Do I decompress and talk about problems? Yeah, sure. But I'm in the mindset that most problems have a solution
Yes.
or they have a way forward
Yes.
if we actually think about it from a logical standpoint. But that's
Right.
going to have to take us decompressing from our emotions like you do when you get home,
Yeah.
compartmentalizing. Now you can dice it out, and that changes things. Um,
Absolutely.
so as we round out this episode, we're starting to get down to our last three, and so our next episode is going to be led by Mike. Harness procrastination, learning how to roll with resistance, and that's whew, we got a doozy coming up. I can't wait to hear what you got to say on this one, brother. This has been another episode of the Review on the Hungry Millennial Network, where we practice proactive pragmatism in our day-to-day lives. We appreciate y'all. I'm Tommy.
And I need coffee.
And we getting on out of here. We'll catch y'all later. We appreciate y'all. Tap in next week.